forgot that I'm gonna be, like, I'm actually gonna be on video, so we'll make it work. Very sporty today, I guess.
There you go.
Welcome to the Budget Mom YouTube channel. Today we are doing something that you guys have been waiting for forever. How I do my nails at home. Now, for the longest time, I actually did the gel kit that you buy from Amazon. I got mine, I think, for like 29 bucks. But I recently moved to dipping, and I'm actually, doing today's video will only be like my 5th time doing the dipping, but I absolutely love it. There was a little bit of a learning curve, and I did have to watch a video that came with the kit that I ordered from Amazon. Now, I ordered the Kiara Sky dipping kit. You can get it on Amazon around $94. Now, I know that may sound like a lot. However, that's really just 2 trips to the salon. So anytime you go to the salon, either to get gel or to do dipping, at least here where I live, it's about $40, $45. So within, just doing your nails twice is gonna be the cost of the kit itself, saving you that money. So I'm gonna be doing my video today all about dipping and what I have learned and how my nails turn out and the process that I use to do my nails at home to save money from going to the salon. So let's get going. So I am currently taking off my current nail polish. This is the dipping powder. I soak my nails, and you can see it's getting like that gel stuff. It's like a gel texture. You can actually pull that off. But I use this pure acetone remover, and then I wipe it off just with some paper towels, and then usually I put a towel, just a raggedy towel, over my hand to keep some of the fumes down. But I soak my nails in this acetone for about 15 minutes. Usually I can try to get most of it off with one swipe, but it might take some double dipping to get it fully off. But you can tell it's becoming like this gel that you can just rub off. So today I'm using the Kiara Sky. I use the Kiara Sky color dipping powder as well, and we're just doing a white, pure white. That's what we're doing on my nails today. I just wanted a white. I didn't want any color. And so the first thing that you want to do is the bond. And you want to apply that to the entire nail. It's the pink or the salmon looking color in the kit. It's step 1. As you can see, it's labeled with the 1. So you want to apply this to your entire nail. And it's almost like you put it on and it soaks right into your nail. So I wouldn't worry about getting it all over your cuticles, because it just soaks in. This is the one where I broke my nails, so I'm gonna hope today that it doesn't sting my nail at all with any of these, with that being broken, but it should be good to go. Okay, once you apply that, and you wanna make sure you really do soak your entire nail, because that's gonna be the bond for the dipping powder. So after you have applied the bond to all 10 nails, the next thing you want to do is you're going to use step 2 in the kit, which is a base. And you also are going to get ready to use the powder called Natural. Now with this step, just make sure your powder is even there. With this step, and also as you can see, let me tell you, before you start, use a table or a space where you don't mind it getting dirty, or because there'll be powder everywhere. So at least for me, my first time, it was everywhere, and that's okay. I'm making it work. So this one with the base, you don't want to apply this all the way down to your cuticle. You want to apply this about 3/4 down your nail, because it just basically helps with any yellowing that happens, especially if you're using a white. So you want to do that, and you want to dip at a 45-degree angle into your powder. Now what I do, and it will look kind of silly, but it will look like that. What I do is I apply this and I dip in between each time. So you want to, like I said, you want to do this about 3/4 of the way down. And your base doesn't have to be very thick. all of your nails dipped, you're gonna have powder on your hands. I picked up this nail brush on Amazon. I think it was under $5. But you wanna just get all of that loose powder off of your nails. So after you do the natural powder, you're not gonna notice much of a difference on your fingers, but like I said, it just helps with that yellowing that you might get if you're doing an all white nail. Voila! So this is what it looks like when you have your natural nail powder on there. It's like kind of translucent, but you can still see it. So we did the natural powder. You want to set that aside. You don't want to get it mixed up with your white your white nail color powder. But the next thing is you want to continue to use the dip, or excuse me, the base. So with doing your next base layer, you want to get it just about a hairline from your cuticle. So you want to bring it all the way down this time. And we're going to be using that color now. So put this on all, and just like we did with the natural, you want to dip in between each time you put the base on. Okay, this is the color we're using, which just is a white. You want to dip at a 45-degree angle. And it will look like this. So you want to do this with all 10 nails and get that base all the way down, about a hairline all the way down to your cuticle. You don't want to go completely down to your cuticle, but about a hairline away. And this is my broken nail, so we're gonna see how this works here. Okay, after you get done with all 5 fingers, you want to turn your hands over and get rid of that extra powder that might be on your fingers. And you can also do it on your nails. And this one might be kind of lumpy just because I had super glue on there. And if there's any other lumps, we'll work those out in a second. So that's your first dip layer. After you have your first layer of base color on, you want to do another layer. So just like you're going to do a second coat of gel polish or nail polish, you're going to use your base and you're going to go directly over that same layer that you did with your dip powder. See, it's just a lot brighter, just like a second layer of nail polish would be. So now that you have both layers of dip, now you can see there's spots like where it's bumpy, and that's okay. So we're done with the color. The next, and as you can see, this is why working on a surface, like a surface you don't mind getting dirty, this will all wipe away. The next thing you want to do is we're going to use the base again. And you're going to use, this is a recycling system. It came with the dip kit that I bought, but essentially it's so your colors and your powders don't get mixed. And you're going to use this with the one that says clear. Now this is your clear dip. This dip is put on your fingers to allow you to buff out your nail without you buffing out the color dip that you just put on. Now, silly me, last time I did this, I was sitting over watching Netflix and I went to go stand up and I knocked this off of my table and I wasted about the whole bottle on my kitchen or on my living room floor. So I have a little bit left that we can work with, but essentially what you want to do is I use this first one here. It's a little dipping spoon. And you want to apply one more layer of base to your nails. And just make sure that it covers the entire nail area. The next thing you want to do is I get my clear powder in this spoon And you literally want to sprinkle this clear powder on your nails. Make sure you get all sides. It's also, this recycling system is also great because then you're not wasting powder. It collects it and then you can put it back into your container for the unused powder that you don't end up using. But you want to do that with all 10 fingers and get that clear powder on your nails. Alright, so now that you have all of that clear powder on your nails, you want to make sure you get rid of all of that clear extra powder. And you can brush pretty hard with this. It's not going to remove any of the dip. So they'll look like this. Now you want to just pull this scoop out. It's collected all of your extra. You want to just throw it back into your, so none of it gets wasted. So we are done with the natural. The next thing that you want to use is step 3, and it's kind of this orange color. It's the Seal Protect, and you want to put this liberally all over your nail, and it usually takes about 1 to 2 minutes for this Seal Protect to dry, so you just want to give it a couple of minutes before you do anything. Alright, so after you apply your clear powder, this is the fun part. I actually went and picked up an electric file, just like you would see in the nail salon. You can actually get them for about 15 bucks on Amazon. It's so worth it because it's great for your cuticles. It's great for buffing out a nail. You can also use one of these square buffs. And for the first couple of times I did it, I didn't have any of these, and I ended up just using a regular nail file that looked like this to do this step. But what I like to do is, and the number one thing you want to concentrate when you are buffing out your nails is the space right above your cuticle. What happens is when your nail is growing out, you don't want it to be a huge lump into that nail dipping color. You want it to be a nice smooth transition. So I use this to round out the bottom of where the color meets the cuticle, as well out to buff out any big bumps that I have in the color dip after I get done. You really just want to focus. Now don't do it too much because you don't want to start getting into your dipping powder, but just enough to make sure it's a smooth transition. And really focus down by the cuticle. And then I just go like this to really just buff out and smooth out the rest of the areas that are a little bit bumpy. The sides also tend to be the bumpiest areas. Now, keep in mind, I am not a file expert. I am not a nail expert. I'm just sharing things that have worked best for me doing my own nails at home. Alright, so after you've filed down where your cuticles are, and you see there's a nice now transition, what I like to do is if there's any major bumps, I like to just smooth those ones out. But now's the time to shape and buff out your nails. So I cut my nails right before the start of this video because they were extremely long. So I'm just going to take a second here to shape. And don't be afraid of messing up your dip. It's actually pretty strong stuff. So I like to do mine in a square shape with rounded corners. So I don't like really pointy square nails. I like them to be like that. So like this one. Now remember, you don't want to buff out your nail or shape your nail until you have that clear coat on there, so that way you're not messing up any of the color dip. The great thing about dip is you can never tell. This is my broken nail, this one, and it's thick. So what makes it a little bit different than gel is if you have thin nails and you constantly find them like bending or chipping or breaking, dipping will help a lot with that, because essentially dipping is just acrylic and you're just doing it at home. So mine currently look like this, and this one's a little bit off. So like this. Now you want to buff it with like a square buffer like this, and you really want to make sure it's about to get really squeaky. So after you have buffed out completely your nails, the next thing you can either use a lint-free rag and use some alcohol to clean off your nails. I like to go ahead and wash mine. So I'm going to do that now, wash my hands, and then we'll work on the next step. Okay, so now that my hands are all clean, I just went over and washed them. You can just wash them with water, no soap. The next thing you want to do is you want to use this step 3, this Seal Protect again. And you want to put this over your entire nails and do that to all of your nails. Okay, once that's done, you want to give them a couple of minutes to dry. Now, once that's been dry and have that Seal Protect dry, you want to just rub it into your nail just to make sure that it was absorbed all the way in. And you want to do that. Just rub it in. You can do it with a paper towel or a lint-free rag. So that's all been done. For the very last step, it's going to be 2 top coats of clear. Now I do mine a little bit differently. Kiara Sky comes with the top coat that looks like this, and it gets a little bit frustrating because the top coat is very air sensitive, which means that it dries, it dries pretty quickly. And if you don't take care of your bottles, or if you let it sit out too long, what happens is it actually dries and the bristles of your brush gets really hard and it's hard to put on your nails. So I have a backup bottle that looks like this, and I bought the refillable top coat that I just put in here as a backup in case the bristles of this brush gets hard. Trust me, you're gonna need it. So I do 1 top coat, and you want to try to do this in like just really simple brush strokes. You don't want to go too crazy. And the first coat might look a little matte, like not very shiny, but your second coat, I'll show you what I use for my second coat. So once you get done with that, and I've even had some people tell me that they've had to close the bottle each nail. I got through all 5 fingers fine. You want to let that not dry out, so you want to put the cap back on. The top coat dries in about 2 to 3 minutes. So I let this sit so it doesn't harden, and then I open it back up and I do my other 5. All right, so top coat has been done. Now usually they suggest to do a second coat of step 4, which is this top coat. I use something different. So I use Sally Hansen Dries Instantly top coat. This gives it a really, really good shine. I found it's better shine than the top coat that you'll get. Where is my top coat? The top coat that you get from Kiara Sky. This is amazing because it dries super, super, super fast, and it gives a really good shine. So this is what I use for my second coat. Just make sure that that other top coat is dry. So we are good with that. So this is the finished product. See that top cone, that Sally Hansen really does give it a really good shine. I really like the white, especially during the summer. So that's currently how I'm doing my dipping at home. I know it seems like a really long process, but honestly, throw on a Netflix movie or a TV show, be good in an hour. Like I said, it was a learning curve for me for the dipping, but I really do believe it saves a ton of money from going to the salon, and they really do turn out just as good, and the quality is just as good. It just, you have to spend the time to do it at home, but it's totally worth it. So if you felt this video was helpful, please like it and don't forget to subscribe. Such good music.